Podcast, your fantasy football advisor for everything Buffalo Bills related on the Scout Team and Fantasy Football Network app. Week 1 is finally here, guys, and boy, do we have the hottest matchup of the week to kick off not only Thursday Night Football, but the NFL season. I expect this to be the highest scoring game of the week. So let's begin with our Week 1 must-starts for the Bills. Our first Week 1 must-start of the week, and this is the hottest player that you should start this week, is quarterback Josh Allen. Josh Allen was almost unstoppable in the playoffs last year. The only thing that could stop Josh Allen in the playoffs was the coin flip. And all kidding aside, Josh Allen is going to come out of the gates firing the ball left and right. I do expect him to go for about 250 to 300 yards in this game. It's a little bit of a tricky matchup for passing yards, but I do expect Josh Allen to use his legs in this game. So I do think that Josh Allen is going to get into the end zone as well. He's probably going to get between 10 to 15 carries, get about 65 yards on the ground, and a touchdown. Another Week 1 must-start is Gabe Davis. Based off of what Gabe Davis did in the playoffs last year against the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think he's going to have that big of a game, but I do think that Gabe Davis is going to go for around 65 to 70 yards passing. Probably 5 to 6 receptions right there and a touchdown. Another must-start this week is Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox just signed a new contract extension with the Buffalo Bills to keep him in Buffalo for another 4 years. So I think that the Bills are going to be targeting him left and right. I do think that this is a matchup that the Bills are going to win based off of the tight end versus safety matchup. So I do think that Josh Allen is going to target Dawson Knox early. I do think that Dawson Knox is going to go for about 45 to 50 yards, possibly get in the end zone as well for a touchdown. So if you're looking for a PPR player to start this week at tight end, Dawson Knox is your guy. Speaking of players that you shouldn't start this week, I do think that Stefon Diggs is a player that you shouldn't start this week based off of his matchup against Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is a tricky cornerback to go up against, and Stefon Diggs has not had good success against him. In the 2 games that he's played against Jalen Ramsey, he only has 2 receptions for 9 yards and a touchdown. So he is my Week 1 must-sit for the Bills. Another player that is a must-sit for me is running back Devin Singletary. Based off of his matchup against the Rams' interior defensive line and linebacker Bobby Wagner, who led the NFL in tackles last year, I don't think this is a good matchup for the Bills to extinguish. I think that the Bills should go away from Bobby Wagner and running back Devin Singletary and possibly utilize a new running back, James Cook. So if you're looking for a sleeper pick for me this week, your sleeper pick is going to be James Cook. I think that James Cook is going to be a really good running back to get later in the season as the defenses are going to be worn out a little bit, and I do expect some big runs out of him. He is a very fast running back running a 4.5 40-yard dash, so I do think that he's going to be electric later in the season and come playoff time. Another Week 1 sleeper pick for me is Isaiah McKenzie. The Rams struggled mightily in the slot game last year, and I do think that Isaiah McKenzie is going to have a monster game here. Based off of last year and what he did in his 1 game that he was the starting slot receiver, I do expect that he's going to have similar numbers to what he did against the New England Patriots last year. He had 10 receptions for 125 yards and a touchdown in that game. So I do expect that Isaiah McKenzie is going to get between 8 to 9 catches in this game, go for about 85 to 90 yards in this game, possibly a touchdown as well, in what is expected to be the highest scoring game of the year. A team that you're probably wondering if you should start or sit for your starting defense is the Buffalo Bills defense. And I'm going to explain why you should start the Buffalo Bills defense this week. The Buffalo Bills had the number 1 scoring defense last year. So I do think that the Bills are going to be coming out of the gates rocking and rolling. They are very healthy right now with the best safety tandem in the league in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. The only thing that is a little bit worrisome for the Buffalo Bills is the cornerback position. But I do think that the Bills have some really good cornerbacks in their system, in Kaiir Elam and Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson last year did not allow a single touchdown thrown his way, and I expect the same to be done with Kaiir Elam as well. While they're going up against two of the hottest receivers in the league, in Cooper Kupp, and Allen Robinson, I don't think that they're going to have very good games, and I do think that the Bills are going to squeak away with this game as a steal and get a W this week. If you're looking for any fantasy football advice, don't forget to follow us on social media at the Go Bills Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to follow the Fantasy Football Network app on Instagram as well. This has been the Go Bills Podcast, and as always, go Bills, and good luck this week in week 1 of your fantasy football lineup.